All right, welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. Now we're talking about the LA Kings and some of their offseason moves, as well as we're actually talking about the trade deadline with them because they had a couple of moves that they have for guys they brought in and they re-signed and some of the bigger moves. So I'm excited to talk about them. They did have a playoff run a little bit last year, but they ran into Edmonton again, unfortunately. So they lost the series 4-2. It's Edmonton. They're monsters with McDavid. So, but it doesn't mean the LA Kings aren't going to have a great shot. I know they're a great young team. I think they ended their rebuild a little too early, but I think they're still using some of those older pieces like Doughty to help support that core and Kopitar as well. So we're going to see there's some good changes happening. Speaking of Kopitar, they did sign another 2-year deal, so it's exciting. So we're going to talk about some of the people that they've lost, some of the people they brought in, what my expectations are, and let's just jump right into it. So we'll jump right over to the team. The cap friendly space, so they did had a couple moves this year. One of the big moves is bringing in Pierre-Luc Dubois. So their cap space is gone. They have no cap space right now. So at the trade deadline, they're looking to make any moves. It's going to end up being they're going to move a player out to bring a player in. Probably with picks as well, similar. So one of the moves they did is they did trade out Sean Durzi as well. I'm going to go over some of the transactions real quick just to show you some of the things they ended up doing. Just to kind of go over the list real quick. The Provorov trade, which included moving off of Cal Peterson, re-signing Gavrikov, which was one of the ones they actually. Well, actually, we'll show over the trade history instead first. So they moved off. So at the trade deadline, this is the reason I'm going back to the trade deadline, is they brought in Gavrikov and Korpisalo. Just those were for the playoff, but then ended up deciding they wanted to re-sign Gavrikov to a deal. So he's back on the team. He's staying with the team, which is good for them. I think it was like a 2-year deal, which is surprising. I thought it would have been a little bit longer, but of course, like most players right now, they're trying to capitalize that the salary cap is going to go up. So they're going to see a lot of 1, 2, 3-year deals because people are anticipating the salary cap to go up. So moved off their franchise goalie Jonathan Quick, who Columbus quickly flipped to Vegas, who he won the Stanley Cup with. So hey, he got another Stanley Cup, so it's not bad for him. And moving out of first and a third round pick as well. Picking up a goalie, I think they ended up, Eric Portillo, they ended up signing him as well, so they got a little bit of depth there. And then this is one of the massive trades, which I thought was really smart because what happened was that LA had signed Cal Peterson to a 3-year deal at $5 million a year, and in his first year was terrible, and so he ended up getting waived. And he's like, hey man, LA's like, hey, someone pick up this contract. You want him? Take him. Go right ahead. You can have him for the next 3 years. But no one took him, so he sat in the AHL and still didn't perform that well in the AHL. Couldn't get his game back, so they said, hey, we got to move off of this contract, which they did. So they said, so in this trade, ended up moving we're going to just talk about the LA, what ended up happening with LA. Surprisingly, they got assets back. They actually picked up Ivan Provorov just so they can retain 30% for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But then again, they get to move off of the Cal Peterson. Had to throw in Sean Walker, which I think is a bummer. I like Sean Walker as a defenseman, but he's gonna have a huge opportunity in the Philadelphia Flyers system, so I'm excited for him to do that. As well as Helge Grans, and then a second round pick as well. So, but again, they even got a couple guys back. I don't think these guys are any movers or shakers, but we'll see. At least they got something back. As well as moving off of Sean Durzi in the second round pick. I another defenseman. I like Sean Durzi. I thought it was great. I think he's, again, similar to what's going to happen with Sean Walker. I think Sean Durzi is going to get a huge opportunity in Arizona, probably playing power play 1 or 2, and we're going to really stack up some points in which Arizona, if they want to keep him, great, sign him, or they can move him off for picks. And the massive deal that was the biggest blockbuster, probably that or the Erik Karlsson deal of the summer, was the Pierre-Luc Dubois deal, which it was huge. And I honestly thought that Pierre-Luc Dubois was going to pick Montreal, just because he was talking about it for so much. And he went to the 2022 trade deadline expecting to get traded. So we got Pierre-Luc Dubois traded for Gabe Vilardi, Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, and a second round pick. So the crazy thing is to me is that the Los Angeles Kings did not have to move out an actual pick. They moved out 2 first round picks, it being a Gabe Vilardi and Rasmus Kupari, and as well as defensive stalwart Alex Iafallo. I thought it was great. I think this is a lot to pay for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who hasn't really shown himself to be a high point producer. I think he's only at like 60 some points as his career high. Spending $8.5 million on a guy, you really bet on the upside of him. So we'll see if that ends up panning out. I think it can, but in my opinion, I also thought the Winnipeg Jets, this was a huge win for them. They knew Pierre-Luc Dubois didn't want to stay here. Also, this is the second sign and trade of ever, I believe, or was one of the few, right? We're seeing this. We saw the first one with Matthew Tkachuk signing 8 years with Calgary and then immediately being traded to Florida. In this case, and I also think, I was thinking Severson. Never mind. But this is the second sign and trade, signing for 8 years, because when he was with Winnipeg, he could sign for 8 years, signed for 8 years, and then traded to the Los Angeles Kings, and then signed that massive deal. So again, I think this is a win-win, and if Pierre-Luc Dubois ends up being that stalwart first-line center once Kopitar's out of the picture, this will end up being worth it. So hopefully we can see him that pan out as well. So I'll go over a couple of more transactions just to show what we're talking about against that extension that I just talked about with Gavrikov. There's a trade as well. Letting, again, Korpisalo, they ended up letting him go. He's ended up signing with the Ottawa Senators. David Riddick signing for a 1-year deal. That's going to be your third goalie. And they also signed Talbot as well. Scroll up here. Yep, Cam Talbot as well. So that's one concern that I do have with LA is their goaltending tandem. They got a lot of old guys. Trevor Lewis, they signed from Calgary for a 1-year deal. Again, extending Andre Kopitar is a big one. So this is a couple of things that I'm just talking about with what they have done, which I liked. So jumping over, let's go to I want to go to the depth chart. So actually we'll go over to the lines over here. I got the lines right here. So scroll up to the first line. So I want to go over the forward group, and then we'll go over the defense group as well. Quentin Byfield needs to pan out. You drafted him as a center. He needs to pan out as a center, but I don't know if there's a lot of space for him to do that. So I think the goal is to put him on the top line, let him produce, and let him just produce, and then that way you can say, hey, either you're going to work out or you're not. And in my opinion, he's not going to. He won't work out because he won't be given the opportunity to work out because this is phenomenal depth in the center position. Look, you have Anze Kopitar, a phenomenal player. They re-signed him for 2 years, $7 million. I think he's like 35 years old. Pierre-Luc Dubois, who they just picked up as well. Philip Deneau, crazy defensive stalwart from when he was playing with Montreal. It was a great, phenomenal player. Blake Lizotte as well. I mean, but you have a Quentin Byfield, who I think he was drafted like second or third overall. You don't want a player like of that caliber playing center on the fourth line. That's not what you drafted him for. You drafted him to be a first or second line center. And so, again, that's where I don't really know where he's going to be end up fitting. But this is a great top six. Quentin Byfield, again, hopefully he can have a breakout season. Andre Kempe as well. Fiala, awesome. Kaliev. I mean, Trevor Moore, I think, is a great secure player. Victor Arvidsson, who they picked up in that Nashville deal a couple years ago. Carl Grunge. I mean, I love this line. I think this forward group is a phenomenal. I give this like an A-, A plus, man. And just checking out some of the points and why I believe in this. Again, we're talking about Anze Kopitar, 74 points in 82 games, 67 for Adrian Kempe. Man, he's 36. Anze Kopitar is 36 years old. So holy, man, it's crazy. Time flies, man. Never mind. I thought he was a $7 million player. He is a $10 million player. So, no, that's wrong. I think that that is wrong. I think he signed for 7. I was correct. Nope, his next deal is going to be 7. My apologies. That's my bad. I apologize. So I was a little bit off there. So that will be nice to free up $3 million for next season, and also keeping your first line center. So we'll see if Pierre-Luc Dubois and Anze Kopitar end up switching positions there. Kevin Fiala, point per game player. This is what you traded for. This is the type of guy you traded for right here. Awesome. Pierre-Luc Dubois had a good year, 63 points in 73 games. Victor Arvidsson, this is a good. And look at you, still getting a lot of production out of the third line too. Look at 54 points in 82 games from Deneau. Awesome. And Blake Lizotte as well, 34 points in 81 games. You're seeing production throughout all 4 lines, and that is huge. It is huge. So I love this. I think this is going to be, again, great forward group. And I'm excited to see how they end up panning out as well. So going out to the defensive pairing, I mean, Drew Doughty, offensive guy. He's doing phenomenal. I can't believe he's still around. He's old as heck. Gavrikov plays well in the playoffs as well. Roy. And then Bjorford and Brant Clark. Brant Clark had a major year in the OHL. Jumping over to his OHL stats, only 2 points when he played with the LA Kings. A little bit of production, 2 points in 5 games for the Ontario Reign. But the OHL, he played 31 games, 61 points. I mean, crazy, man. And even look at this is the playoffs, 12 games, 23 points. I mean, just a monster season. I think he's looking to break out into this position. I think he's gonna get some third line minutes, kind of ease in there, right? Let him learn how to play on this. I mean, he already played a little bit of North American ice, but really kind of get him into the NHL pace. It's a lot faster than an OHL team. So again, let's go over his depth. Go to the depth charts right here. Again, you're getting the offense from the Doughty. You're getting your defense. Mikey Anderson playing great defensively. Gavrikov and Matt Waugh doing all right. Not huge new point producers, but hopefully Brant Clark can end up playing with one of these guys. I'm really putting up some points. And then you can also throw in Andreas Englund in there too. So you got some depth there. Not crazy about this defense, but I think it is okay. But I think there's some good pieces here. I mean, again, Drew Doughty's getting a little bit older here, but I mean, still an $11 million deal for till 2027. Holy smokes. Okay, well, I mean, luckily it's not an Erik Karlsson deal. I mean, he put up 100 points though, so he's supposed to still producing, but you definitely want to see those points go up for him. So we'll see how that goes. And again, and then they go to the next section, being that they have Phoenix Copley and Cam Talbot. Phoenix Copley played well. Look at this winning record, 24-6, great winning record. Now the 903 save percentage, you'd like it to be higher. That's just below average in the league. I think the average is like 0.905 to 907, so that's below average. 2.64, and you want that a little bit lower as well. But hopefully Cam Talbot can bring that up. He didn't have a great year either though. So again, I'm a little hesitant on what's going to happen with these goalies. And they also signed David Rittich. He's just kind of bouncing around doing 1-year deals here and there. Hasn't really had great years. If we go to him, I think he's in the minors. Is he? Yeah, Rittich. 21 games. Similar. Actually, it's a very similar goals against average and save percentage as where is he at? Copley. So, but I mean, this Copley, 24-6. You can't go. I mean, guys just were fighting for him, man. So, I really hope. I mean, I would have loved if they would have got Hellebuck. That would have been crazy, right? But I'm just curious if they're gonna. That's one of the things they're gonna end up trying to fix in the for the trade deadline is picking up a goalie, man. I think it'd be amazing if they can get Winnipeg to send over Hellebuck for a playoff run. That'd be nuts. That'd be so crazy. I don't know what they're gonna trade, but I mean, that'd be so wild if they can do that. So, anyways, so that's kind of just do our. So again, I think they have a great shot to go to the playoffs. I think they're gonna be a great team. I love the youngness. I think they got a lot of talent. I got like some of the players that are coming up. I think I really believe in Quentin Byfield. I think you're going to be something. I think he's just a little. Some guys just take a little longer to develop, and I still believe in him. So I can see him having a breakout year. I mean, if he got 50 points, I mean, he's playing winger, right? Playing winger is different than playing center. But he's a top draft pick. You don't get up there, and you don't get drafted that high just because you're good looks, you know. So make sure that you. I mean, I still think you can produce. So, anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, comment, and LA fans, I want to know what your thoughts are because I was learning a little bit more about the LA team, and I want to know your thoughts. And tell me I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. So, anyways, again, hit like, subscribe, comment, and talk to you soon. Love you.